It looks like the baby was conceived on the 12th.
Not the 19th.
No. And as mentioned earlier, that it's not 100%, but I am pretty certain.
Who were you with on the 12th, Zach or Aaron?
Wow. Karen?
All right, Sistas fans, here's the question that people have been going back and forth about since the last episode, the mid-season finale of season 5. Who was Karen with on the 12th? The hell if I know. I've said this before, that even before the episode aired, if the doctor gave exact dates and times, it wouldn't tell us as a fan base anything, because we don't know the date where Zach and Karen got it on in her office. We don't know the date where Aaron and Karen, did it in her apartment. However, Portia Gant on Twitter did say this about 24 hours ago. I'm dropping this bomb, then I'm off here today. The thermostat beside Karen and Aaron before they had sex says the 19th, which would make Zach the 18th. In reference to Zach and Karen, in her office, which was about a day or within 24 hours from when she had sex with Aaron. The 12th is a mystery because him and Fatima were together at the time, and he didn't have sex with Karen again until that slip up in the office. So shout out to Portia. Now, I did tweet her back because she did put up a screenshot. Actually, Jazz did. She put up a screenshot, but it's kind of blurry. And Portia says take the screenshot when it's between the two of them. Look above the 79 and it's the second number. Now, at the moment, I'm working with some people to get the clip together. I've tried looking at it on my phone, on my television. I've tried various ways of zooming in, but I can't see it. Now, by the time I do this video in terms of editing, if the 19 is there, then I'll be like, holy crap, then it was the 19th. But let's back it up a little bit here. Going back to Karen's reaction when the doctor said it was the 12th. What do we know about this date? Like I said, I don't think I know much of anything about the date itself, but I just want to talk about what the doctor said. First of all, the results that she's giving aren't 100% accurate. There is room for error, but a very small window for error to come into these calculations. She claims the calculations were based off of a redo of the ultrasound, looking at, that more in detail. But along with that, going based off of the information Karen gave to the doctor, we can somewhat assume the information Karen gave the doctor was the same calendar dates, timetable that she told her mother she came up with. Because remember, Miss Lisa told Karen about, what Fatima suggested in terms of, counting the dates from the last period and 10 days here, carry over the 2, multiply and take it to the 4th power or whatever, in order to figure out, basically use the Pythagorean theorem in order to figure out how or who the baby daddy is. So whatever this calendar is, because remember, she told her mom, oh, I did, do those calculations after I knew that I was pregnant, and that's how I know Zach is the father. But she didn't want to go to a doctor to confirm it at that time because she knows it's BS. So basically, whatever Karen came up with in her calculation seems to be incorrect, because when the doctor says the 12th, she's like, oh, so it's not the 19th? At first, I'm like, yeah, so Karen's dates were wrong. However, you could also interpret it as Karen asking that question, oh, so it wasn't the 19th, indicating that, Aaron's timeline wasn't right. If that thermostat indeed has the 19th on it, we can somewhat assume that Aaron's unseen calendar and timeline suggests that the date of conception was the 19th. Ergo, he's the daddy. So, if we're looking at it from that perspective, her disbelief at the 12th could be a result of her going, so Aaron's timeline was wrong. because it seems like she's always afraid to look at something that would debunk her own conclusions about things. In her mind, Zach is the father. She doesn't want to accept or acknowledge anything to the contrary, such as Aaron's timeline, which would suggest that, hey, there's no guarantee I'm the father, but based on my calculations, or as Dorothy Ann would say, or was it Phoebe on the Magic School Bus? According to my research, no, I think that was Dorothy Ann that said that. Basically, it would showcase that, hey, there isn't 100% certainty that Zach is the father. I have just as good a chance of being the father as Zach, so look at my timeline. Hey, I texted to you. Did you look at it? I emailed it to you. Did you look at it? I mailed you a letter, sent it first class. Did you look at it? And Karen's like, I looked at it, but whatever. I don't care. Zach is the father. But then remember the first time she went to the doctor, her reaction to her being barely 4 weeks pregnant, oh shit, kind of shows us that, okay, maybe the baby daddy isn't who she thought it was. So I just feel like we really don't have much to work with here. So if Aaron and Karen had sex for the first time on the 19th, then he isn't the father. Because if that thermostat thing is correct, it isn't him, because the date of conception was the 12th. But on top of that, the office session that Zach and Karen had was only within 24 hours, so the 18th. So was the 12th in conjunction to a season 1 relation that they had? I don't really remember when they had sex in season 1, because season 1 is kind of a blur to me, but maybe I'll go back and try to find a scene where they did, but it just isn't adding up. As Zach said to what was her name, Lori, about child support, the math ain't mathing up. And this is just another example of why I think that whenever these, like Heather's DNA test, or the ultrasound that Karen's going through, everybody needs to be present. Not the women, I'm talking about the men. This involves Karen, Zach, and Aaron. Yes, based on who the baby daddy is, that will impact the rest of the groups, but it really only matters that the people who could potentially be the baby daddies are there. That way they are able to sort things out. Yet another reason why I'm mad that Miss Lisa left, because, well, to be completely honest, she wouldn't know the dates, but I do believe that Miss Lisa, in a heartbeat, as soon as that doctor gave the date, she would have hopped on her phone and called Aaron and Zach to ask, hey, what was the date that you last banged my daughter? That way, we can figure this out, because the doctor just said this date. And that would just solve everything right then and there, as opposed to dragging things on for another 3 seasons for no damn reason. But there is the other category of, is there someone else that we don't know about? Now, here's a clip from season 1, episode 6, where Karen and Andy are having a conversation in the salon, and this might add some more light to the situation.
But whatever you do, don't cheat on him.
When have I ever cheated? That don't count.
Why doesn't it count? Because you only let him put the tip in?
Oh, whoa, would you stop,
Just
please?
saying. I'm just...
So apparently there was someone who Karen cheated on Zach with, but in her mind it doesn't count, because according to Andy, it was just a quote-unquote tip as opposed to the whole hot dog. But it could be Rico. That's the easiest way to just pinpoint. Well, he is the only third party that we've seen Karen interact with on screen, but that just seems to be someone who would get called upon when Zach wasn't acting right. They would always use a condom, so we can assume that they would just have full-blown sex. But in terms of this potential mystery man, this is someone who could be the father. We just don't know. Now, I'm not going to lie. I don't feel like going through every flipping episode of season 1. Season 1 and 2, if you want to be honest here, and kind of, look at the characters' clothing to dictate the passage of time of, okay, let's see, Sistas season 1 to Sistas season 2 episode 19 was give or take about 12 days based on the character wardrobe. I'm not doing that. I'm pretty sure there are fans who are dedicated to doing that, and if you are one of those people and you do that, hit me up. Give me the dates. That would actually save me a lot of time and effort. But overall, I just feel like, will Karen lie? Will she tell the truth? Based on the trailer for next week, it looks like Aaron is receiving news that he isn't the father, because just based on the face he makes, it just shows you that, he's in the salon office with Karen, and she could be just telling him what's going down, because even Andy's like, so are you going to tell him? Which indicates like, hey, well, Karen told the late Danny and Andy who she was with on the 12th. And maybe Andy's asking, well, are you going to tell him or not in regards to, who's the baby daddy? Obviously, she's going to have to talk with both men, the person who isn't the father and the person who is the father, so they can work things out from there. My guess is, this is just a guess, I'm thinking she's going to tell Aaron he's not the father, and she's going to tell Zach that he is the father. And then from there, that leads to the multiple episode synopsis where Zach is having a talk with Karen, and then Karen and Fatima are going to face off, and I don't know. It's just going to be a whole mess. I just wish there was more confirmation. My question is this. Even when Karen tells the girls who she was with on the 12th, I don't even know if we as an audience will know if she's lying or not. That's just another concern right there of her lying or not, because Helena from the airport in season 1 lied about being pregnant by Zach so he wouldn't go back to Karen. Then Heather, she just pops up claiming Zach is the father before any DNA tests are done. And even though the test says it's 99.9%, it just feels weird that we don't have any solid confirmation, like the courts getting involved and, making sure there's an official DNA test as opposed to, behind the back tactics like Fatima did, which I don't blame her, because Heather wasn't going to budge unless child support was paid, which is messed up on so many levels. So I just really wish that we could have a 100% answer right now. I don't think we will. And I've looked at the scene multiple times, the body language, at first is like Karen is stunned that it wasn't the 19th, but the 12th. And then when she did that head tilt, she, dragged her feet giving an answer. But guess what? As an audience, we didn't get it because we cut away to the damn apartment of Maurice and Calvin. So who was Karen with on the 12th? I have no freaking idea. I don't. It's just a matter of whether or not she tells the truth, if we get the full backstory, which I don't think we're going to get anytime soon. And as I said multiple times, I'm just done with this storyline. I just wish we would move on with something else. I don't care if Zach is the father. I just want this, information to be revealed so we can move forward and, see what else is out there with these characters. That's all I want. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Who do you think Karen was with on the 12th? Was it Zach? Was it Aaron? Or was it someone else, not Rico? So thanks so much for tuning in. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.